It's all for you. Yeah, yo. There whenever it matters, and even more when you feel like it doesn't. Protect you so you never feel like you wasn't. Know I'm right alongside you. Either that or I'm behind you, but always got you. End the discussion, nothing means more. First one to offer is shoulders for what you reach for. Thought I saw the eyes of the world until I seen yours. And know that I ain't see a better view yet. I'm with whatever, so don't ever you fret. Know that you covered, not a hurdle or a heartbreak. A change what a partake, cause none of them won't ever get comfortable in your walkway. My job is to aware you, fully loaded, prepare you for all of the above that I'm never letting get near you. But still in all, give you every advantage I found. Couldn't find a better fit for them, along with my crown. And since the baton was passed, I've been down. Cause failing's not an option, and dad is not a noun, not at all.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Ishmael from Dad is Not a Noun. Dad is Not a Noun is a social media platform dedicated to men of color and fatherhood. And I have a special, actually, let me start off with this. This episode is entitled, I Have the Power. it represents this brother that I have on right now. He is a cosplay legend. I know he doesn't like that, but it's a fact, because the way I learned from you, like I learned about you, was from the legendary character that you flipped the script on, He-Man, and he created your own version called the Afro He-Man.
We'll talk about it. Go ahead. I'm listening.
Yeah. So yeah, educate me on that. But I'm honored and pleasure to have this brother on, Demetrius S Holt. How you doing, brother? So educate me on this. If I messed it up, educate me on that.
Demetrius, yeah, it's fine. As far as like the whole Afro thing, we see cosplayers are a funny entity. The whole deal for Black cosplayers is that we try our best to just be the characters and not be the Black version of the character, because there's a lot of white cosplayers who like to marginalize us even further by saying that, oh, you're the Black version of, as opposed to just being the character itself. So, the Afro thing just kind of just stuck, but if at every given opportunity I have, I say, no, I'm just He-Man.
I feel you on that, brother. I appreciate that for dropping that gem on me. But let's talk about this upcoming event you have going on with Planet Afropunk, which I think is big. Talk about that a little bit.
Okay, so Planet Afropunk, it is the virtual festival of Afropunk, whereas normally before COVID, they would go from city to city, different festivals scheduled throughout the year. And at the least, they would have about like 70,000 people in attendance for these concerts, right? But thanks to Hilton George, the con chair, or the convention chairman and owner of Blerdcon, which is Black Nerd Con, he was able to broker a deal where he was able to see that Black nerds and Black people who have an alternative feel, or a certain type of flavor to them, that enjoy concerts, or a lot of our interests dovetail towards one another, but we're not really ingratiated. We're not really a part of each other's spheres. So between him and Blerdcon and Afropunk, they decided that it was a good idea to try to merge the two and see if we could get some crossover and expose one side to the other and then grow the following and be a better entity as far as being united, because we are all nerds on one level. One might be a music nerd, another's a comic book nerd. So it's all about the sharing of information and being as together and unified as possible. So that's that part. As far as the Planet Afropunk, as far as us are concerned, the Blerdcon Afropunk, there are a lot of nerds who have specialties in various categories and avenues. And as far as the portion that I'm speaking on, it's mainly my appeal to Mattel. I have been trying to get the attention of Mattel, which I already have to a certain degree, to try to get them to have more Black and brown representation within their action lines. And the reason for that is because, hey, I have a 14-month-old son. I would like for him to grow up in a world where the inherent bias of Black and brown faces isn't that we're threatening, or that, you know, that we are older than what we actually are. In the case of Tamir Rice, they thought he was 30. He was actually 12, you know. And I figure that these biases start in childhood. You know, if companies like Mattel, Netflix, DreamWorks, what have you, are having more diversity within their hero lines, then those children who are predisposed to be police officers, lawyers, and judges would see that maybe we're not as threatening as their homegrown training might have told them, or their indoctrination from other places have provided to them. So if I can get that to be a thing, then I would have done my part in this crowded world to earn a place, you know?
I feel you. And I think that's the key point too. I think I'm a big component of affirmation. I think for Black youth, I think affirmation is like water. You know, they talk about, you know, you drink water, it's good for you. The more affirmation that Black kids see, the more they'll evolve and be confident within themselves. And they see people like themselves in different avenues, and then they can believe that, you know what, I can do that one day. You know, prime example, like it was a story about Dr. Ronald McNair, and he talked about a story about him and his brother sitting down and watching Star Trek, and they saw that episode where they saw this diverse cast of people of color. And as a teenager, Ronald McNair said, "I want to be in space." Yeah. And long and behold, he
went to A&T and got it done.
That's right. And I think that's important, especially in action figures. That makes a whole lot of difference when a kid can play with a character that looks like them. That makes a huge difference. Like me growing up, like the closest Black character I had to action figure was Thundercat Panthro, to be honest with you.
Yeah. I can imagine. I mean, it was either Panthro and he was blue. Yeah. So you know, and like Clamp Champ from the Masters Universe line, he didn't come out till a little bit later. But yeah, I mean, it's difficult to grow up in a world where you are you don't see your face in places that, you know, that make you feel good. You know, like when you see Black Panther, the movie, you know, you feel like a certain type of chill, not just because of the imagery, but then because of the culture that's behind the imagery. You know, like you see yourself as not a drug dealer or a pimp or, you know, anything of the sort that was in the early 90s, like New Jack City or something like that. You see yourself as something as regal, you know, and that's important for the representation matter of it all.
Definitely. And then you're growing up, you know, when did you start falling in love into comic books, which led into you into cosplay?
Well, the comic book thing, my mom kind of like helped stoke that in order to help me learn how to read. You know, I was interested in the images, and in order for me to understand the images, I had to learn how to read. So that was our thing. she had always, when she was able to pinpoint what my interests were, she laser focused and zero in on it, and that's what we did. And even then, when I was like 5, 6, 7 years old, we were going to like another Universe comic book store where there wasn't too many. Well, there was a few comic book stores back in the day. They've since fallen off over the years, but anytime there was like a signing from a comic book artist or Stan Lee showed or something, my mom was there. She was like, let's go. As far as the cosplay thing, I started that 3 years ago. I'm 36 years old. I needed something new to do other than the bodybuilding, and it was a transition in my life where I had just gotten divorced, and I needed something to do where my ex-wife wasn't involved, and so I was always going to conventions with her, but I wasn't cosplaying. And when I started cosplaying, I did not realize that it was a culture or it was a community, so I just did it for myself. My first cosplay was Kratos, and if you're familiar with the character, his whole deal is he's got like the ashes of his wife and his daughter fastened to him, and in my quasi artistic way, I figured if this was going to be the transition of my life from something that was to something that is, then when I take these ashes off, when I get back home from this convention, then I am no longer covered in what was my ex-wife in that life. So that's the way I took it. That's the way I went about it. And from that point on, I kind of got thrusted into different communities on Facebook just because people started seeing my pictures, and then it became a thing.
And it took off, man. It's like shoot it off, man. It kind of helped build connections with people and to put you in the position right now. But my favorite, one of my things too is like, who are your favorite characters that you like dressing up cosplay? You have the He-Man character. I think didn't you dressed up as Spawn, I think?
Yeah, I have a Spawn suit. Or at least it's being retooled right now. But yeah, I've done a lot of characters that a lot of people don't know, because I think I'm around 17 or 18 cosplays, if not more, just simply because I was just trying different stuff. I don't like to get like pigeonholed into one thing.
I feel you.
And somehow I got He-Man was the one that stuck. But no, between Ezio from Assassin's Creed, Kratos, Sub-Zero, like a couple different versions of Zero, B.A. Baracus from the 18. The list kind of goes on. But as far as my favorite ones, I kind of have to lean towards Sub-Zero just because it was easy to put on. I didn't have to shave my head. I didn't have to put on a body paint, even though I did. But it's, Sub-Zero is like a favorite. But if I had to go back to do one, I would revisit Kratos again. I would train and do Kratos over again, and make sure folks know that's versatility there.
Definitely, that's definitely true, man. And then one of my favorite things is that how you have your child evolved in the cosplay. I think that's an awesome thing. Like I've seen the different videos. I've seen the one where you used the voiceover from a Lion King.
Oh yeah,
that was one of my favorites. But can you talk about that a little bit? How you felt like, all right, this is the time to get my little one involved in it.
The thing is, I've always been very fortunate to have some really nice people around me on the positive side of things, and the opportunity came up to get some pictures of him taken when he was just I think it was 4 months old. He was 4 months old when I got that, when we first started taking pictures and cosplay together. And in my mind, I have always wanted him and every one of my children, if I ever have any more, to see themselves as the heroes that they could possibly be. Like if it's all about representation, then and seeing our faces reflected back at us and us feeling a certain way about that, then we need to see our faces in these images as well in order to reinforce that. what's the point of showing him, oh yeah, that's a hero right there, but you're going to be a janitor because you're dressing up as one, or you're going to, there's nothing, like, to be fair, there's nothing wrong with being, blue collar workers. I'm an electrician, but, and like, as far as like Tonka toys and like being construction workers, fine, like those people make money. So I'm not shaming them or anything like that. But the thing is, if you could see yourself dressed as a hero with a cape, then maybe, you will make decisions that will reflect that mentality moving forward, so that instead of making an evil decision of hitting that 4-year-old because you want to take her piece of candy, you would do the heroic thing and giving her a piece of candy, and then just knowing that, and just letting her know that you are a friend that she can count on, or he can count on. So I figured those are the types of mentalities and influences that we need to like put towards our children, so that it can be reinforced, in so many different ways. You just want to like have functioning members of society.
Definitely, man. And then the last question I have, one of the deepest images you posted was around Father's Day, and it was like an image of you. I think it was your father and your little one. And I had actually, if I can use a photo and do like a collage, and in the background I used Sky Zoo's song "Milestone" in it. Can you talk about that? Because I thought that was beautiful, because it's sharing that legacy from
the
generational. Yeah, that was pretty deep, man.
I mean, I'm a product of television. So of course, and again, it goes back to Black Panther, because I had on T'Challa's shirt, my dad had T'Chaka's shirt, and of course he had the Baby Panther. He's the first grand, of my family, and so it made sense to me that if we take a Father's Day shoot where I got my daddy and he had his daddy, and like we're here, and then however things go in the future, as far as the amount of time that I get with him, he'll always know that in his first year we were here celebrating his life, letting him know that we were proud to be his father and his grandfather. And those are going to be like, those are memories that nobody can take away from him. Those are important.
It is, man. And again, I thank you for taking the time to talk to me. Also, where can people find you? And then also the event coming on. I think you're going to be on Saturday, right?
Yeah, okay. Saturday at 10 o'clock. The way that they've structured it is basically like they want to have all of this content play back to back to back to back to back to back, like it's a concert. So you just want to sit there. They want you to have your computer set up, or your casting device set up where you can just hit play, and you can just have a whole lot of information, a whole lot of culture, a whole lot of music, and just streaming to you constantly for 72 hours.
Wow.
So we start our block. I have 43 minutes. I got like 43 minutes and like 35 seconds or whatever of my presentation of my panel with Richard Sutton, or Fitness by Sutton. Start at 10 o'clock Saturday morning on Planet Afropunk. RSVP, go to the site and and check it out. There's a whole lot of dope artists that are presenting or that are performing, both on the music side and performative dance as well. It's going to be, I hope, transformative for a lot of people. I'm all about the proliferation of minorities within mainstream media, and this is an opportunity for a lot of podcasters, a lot of performers to get their name out there, so that we can be more present in the mainstream and be, so prevalent that you can't deny us. If Afropunk is there, if their goal is to have anywhere between 70,000 to 1.5 million, people watching it, we want this to happen on a level where next year it'll be 2 million, if not more than that. Because if you're trying to root for everybody black, then that means that everybody needs to be seen, and that means that people need to see us.
Facts, man. And shout out to Blerdcon Afropunk for creating this ecosystem for talented black people. We always talk about we want something like that, and now it's there. It's just we have to go onto the link, RSVP, and just be a part of that that Black Joy is Magic experience for the next 3 days.
Right. And as far as my Instagram is concerned, it's hellspawned_cosplay. And you can find me on the same name on Facebook, but Facebook's a little wonky on how to manage that. But yeah, a lot of my stuff is really on Instagram, so I'm more accessible that way.
And you're blowing up TikTok too. A little bit.
I had to take a break from TikTok because life happened, and then work and stuff. So, and TikTok takes time.
Yeah, it does.
It takes a lot of time. And so, shout out to everybody who's able to do that, quickly and know the shortcuts. I just can't do it.
I feel you. But brother, I appreciate you for coming on. You're always welcome to come back on. All right.
All right. Have a good one.